Hello students, I am Geoffrey Chaucer. I welcome you in my online teaching classes. Today I have brought the video 5 for you, the students of HTET and UGC-Net exams. This video may be useful in several exams for the students who study English literature, and some students are appearing tomorrow in Haryana eligibility test that will be held on tomorrow for level 3 PGT for postgraduate teachers. Those who want to be teachers in Haryana, those are appearing for exam tomorrow. So first of all, I express my best wishes for you so that you may fare well in your exam and you get through it easily. So, okay, let me proceed further. Please note, before I come to the question number 1, I'll tell you about this. Although utmost care has been taken and research work has been done before answering the questions taken here in this video, yet there may be chances of tongue slip, typing errors, or any other type of human error done without any intention. So please do rectify it at your own level and inform me about it so that it could be mentioned in a note here. Thanks. So let's proceed. Who said the following lines in Webster's Duchess of Malfi? You know this play, Duchess of Malfi, was written by Webster, John Webster. He was Elizabethan dramatist, as you know. And lines are, we are merely the stars' tennis balls struck and banked, which may please them. There are 4 options for you. Daniel D. Bussola, this is the full name of him. Ferdinand Rodrigo Grisolin. These are 4 characters from Webster's Duchess of Malfi, and you are to judge, you are to give correct answer. Who spoke these lines? We are merely the stars' tennis balls. So let's come to the answer. It was Daniel D. Bussola who said after watching the dead body of the Duchess. Bussola is the name of that character. Question 2 is, name the dramatist who brought the trend of revenge plays to the Elizabethan theatre. Name the dramatist who brought the trend of revenge plays. You must have heard about revenge plays, right? And Shakespeare also wrote revenge play. Maybe he must have done some modification in that. Hamlet was in a way, we can say that it's a revenge play also, because those 4 elements are there. And John Webster, Ben Jonson, William Shakespeare, Thomas Keats, right? These were Elizabethan dramatists, and who brought the trend of these revenge plays in Elizabethan theatre. And the answer is Thomas Keats was the writer. Thomas Keats brought the trend of revenge plays in Elizabethan theatre. Third question is, which one of the following plays set the trend to revenge plays? Which one of the following? Now you are to tell about the plays. And in the previous question, you were to tell about the writer, dramatist who set the trend of revenge plays. Now the question has changed for you, and you are to tell the name of the drama. 4 options are in front of you. The Spanish Tragedy, Comedy of Errors, Tempest, or Dr. Faustus. And you must think before answering. Comedy of Errors, it's a comedy of errors, so how can it be a revenge play? Tempest, you must know about Shakespeare's famous play Tempest, and Dr. Faustus was a play written by Christopher Marlowe. So let me tell you about the answer. The Spanish Tragedy was written in this trend, right? Which one of the following plays set the trend? This Spanish tragedy was written by Thomas Kidd. And you may rectify, please, the answer. If I sometimes I may be confused about the answer, but 99% I have tried my level best to be precise in answer. Name the Roman dramatist who used the elements of horror and bloodshed in his plays. Roman dramatist, you are to be particular about this. Roman dramatist. Who was named the Roman dramatist who used elements of horror and bloodshed in his plays? Seneca the Younger, Ennius, Lucius Accius, and Hosidius Geta. These are Roman dramatists. So you may find the name some tongue twisters here. And Thomas Kidd, he brought the element of revenge. He also wrote revenge play, right? In Elizabethan theatre, in Elizabethan era, you can say. But we are here talking about Roman dramatist, who may be the originator in a way. Okay, Seneca the Younger. This Seneca the Younger was the right answer, and these were not the correct answers. And this is a bronze statue of Seneca the Younger. Which one of the following romantic poets first used the term negative capability? Very famous term. Which one of the following romantic? It means this term has been coined by romantic poet. And they were 5 poets, you must know: William Wordsworth, S.T. Coleridge, John Keats, P.B. Shelley, and one is not there because options were only 4. And the 5th poet, do you know? He was Lord Byron, right? So you are to tell who coined the term, who originated the term negative capability. Whether it was William Wordsworth, S.T. Coleridge, John Keats, or P.B. Shelley. Let me not waste your time. It was John Keats. Let me tell you about this negative capability for whom he has used. John Keats, who first used the term in an 1817 letter, he wrote in a letter to appreciate Shakespeare. For William Shakespeare, he used the term negative capability. He found negative capability enormously in his plays. Next question is, according to John Keats, which one of the following great writers of plays, poems, novels possessed the negative capability enormously? Means very much. In plenty, you can say. William Shakespeare, Robert Browning, Thomas Hardy, Ernest Hemingway, for whom he has used the term negative capability. And in the previous answer, I gave you the hint that it was William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare. For William Shakespeare, he said he possessed negative capability in his plays. He reflected that negative capability in his play enormously. The word enormously was used by John Keats. 7th question is, who coined the term or phrase egotistical sublime in English literature for his contemporary poet? It means the poet who coined this phrase, this term, you can say, was of the same period. These are, romantic poets of England, and 4 options are given to you. It means these are all contemporary poets of each other, and one option is cracked out of these: William Wordsworth, P.B. Shelley, John Keats, or S.T. Coleridge. And it was John Keats who coined the term phrase egotistical sublime. He was John Keats who coined this phrase, right? John Keats. For which contemporary poet did John Keats coin the phrase egotistical sublime? Another question may be made out of this egotistical sublime, and this is the next form of the question. William Wordsworth, P.B. Shelley, Lord Byron, S.T. Coleridge. Whether Keats used that term egotistical sublime for William Wordsworth or P.B. Shelley or Lord Byron or S.T. Coleridge. Actually, he used this term for William Wordsworth, right? What did John Keats want to describe in William Wordsworth by using the phrase egotistical sublime? There are three questions. I have made three questions on this phrase egotistical sublime. Now, in this question, what quality did John Keats want to describe in William Wordsworth by using this phrase egotistical sublime? His style of writing lyrical ballads, or Wordsworth's emotional strength, or Wordsworth's characters in his poems, or Wordsworth's distinctive genius, right? Egotistical sublime is meant for his distinctive genius, distinct, very clear, distinct. You can say you can use the word for differentiating from others. He had unique genius, you can say. Wordsworth, distinctive genius. Name the English poet who died of tuberculosis, means TB in short, and tuberculosis. John Keats, Robert Browning, Lord Byron, P.B. Shelley. Yes. And these three poets, they died very young. John Keats, P.B. Shelley, Lord Byron. John Keats died in his 20s, and these two poets died in their 30s, you can say. P.B. Shelley, Lord Byron, Robert Browning, or John Keats, which of them? Yes, John Keats died of tuberculosis. You must know this. John Keats died of TB in the prime of his age. Perhaps he could not complete the 26th year of his age. This was very tragic. Question 11th is, Alexander Pope wrote an essay on man with an effort to, you are to fill in the blank by selecting the correct answer from the given options, right? To vindicate the ways of God to man, to justify the ways of God to man, or one and two both, or neither one nor two. Yes, vindicate or justify the ways of God to man. These are common, okay? So the answer is to vindicate the ways of God to man. Next question. The Temple of Fame, a vision written by Alexander Pope, first published in 1715, was directly inspired by which one of the following poets' poem? Options are William Shakespeare, Sidney, Spenser, Geoffrey Chaucer. So the question you must understand again. The Temple of Fame, a vision written by Alexander Pope, first published in 1715, was directly inspired by which one of the following poets' poem? Whether it was William Shakespeare's poem, or Sidney's, or Spenser's, or Chaucer's. You are to give answer of that. So answer is Geoffrey Chaucer. His 14th century poem, The House of Fame, these are old spellings, original spelling of them. And from this poem, Alexander Pope was inspired to write a vision, this one, The Temple of Fame, a vision. He was inspired by Chaucer's poem, that was, you must know the title of that poem, The House of Fame. And these are old spellings for that, right? Who wrote the following famous lines? A little learning is a dangerous thing. Drink tea. These are 4 lines and continuous lines. And some may use the word knowledge also here. A little learning or a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. This line has become famous with knowledge. Who wrote this? Samuel Jonson, Bacon, Addison, Alexander Pope. Which one of them? Answer is Alexander Pope from Essay on Criticism. He wrote these lines in Essay on Criticism. Next question. Alexander Pope is best known for his what? Satirical verses, translation of Homer, use of heroic couplet, or all the three? You have to answer, right? Whether it was only satirical verses or translation of Homer, the use of heroic couplet he was known for, or all the three? Right answer is all the three. He had all the three qualities in him. He had satirical, he wrote satires, जिन्हें हम व्यंग बोलते हैं, उन्होंने व्यंग लिखे, और व्यंग का ही ज़माना था ये। ड्राइडन ने भी व्यंग लिखे, खूब लिखे, और ये satirical वर्सेस अलेक्जेंडर पोप की लिखी, होमर की जो भी थी ट्रांसलेशन भी की उन्होंने होमर से, और हीरोइक कपलेट तो यूज होते थे। दीज वर न्यू क्लासिकल पोइट्स, सो ऑल द थ्री। 15th question is, from which poem has the following lines been taken? Adieu, the fancy cannot cheat so well. Adieu, the fancy cannot cheat so well as she is famed to do, deceiving elf. 4 options are given to you: Ode to a Nightingale, Ode to Autumn, Ode on a Grecian urn, Ode on Indolence. These were some of the odes written by John Keats. These were very famous odes: Ode to a Nightingale, Ode to Autumn, Ode on a Grecian urn, and Ode on Indolence. You are to think and tell from which ode these lines have been taken. Okay, answer is Ode to a Nightingale. Adieu, adieu, fancy cannot cheat so well. These were very famous lines. How many pilgrims, including the narrator, the host, Harry Balley, and the Canon's yeomen, who travelled to the shrine, were there in Chaucer's Canterbury Tales? You have to tell how many people were there who went to the pilgrimage. How many devotees there? 32, 28, 24, 40. Yes, you have to guess. The number was 32 pilgrims went there. They were in 29 in number when they meet the narrator at the inn. So, including the narrator, they were 30. After that, Harry Balley, this person, and he was the host, and the Canon's yeomen also joined them. The number becomes 32. Which one of the following, this of should be deleted? Which one of the following poems written by Alexander Pope was directly inspired by one of Geoffrey Chaucer's poems? Now, this question was taken before also, but differently. Here we are to tell the name of the poem, and there we were to tell the name of the author who wrote that poem that inspired Alexander Pope to write his poem. So, the 3 hours after marriage, the temple of fame, a vision, or Nasiha, or Dunciad. Yes. Which one of the following is written by Alexander Pope? These were written by Alexander Pope, these 4 poems, and you are to tell which one of these was written after the poet got inspiration from Geoffrey Chaucer's poem, you can say. So the Temple of Fame is the correct answer. This one, second one answer. John Milton, in his Paradise Lost, makes an effort. What effort? Fill in the blanks by selecting the correct answer from the given options. To vindicate the ways of God to man, to justify the ways of God to man, 1 and 2, and neither. Similar question was there about Alexander Pope, but here we were talking there essay on criticism, and here we are talking about justify, whether it was to vindicate the ways of God to men or justify the ways of God to men. So answer is to justify the ways of God to men. He wrote Paradise Lost, and this is the correct answer you have come to know. 20th question. Who invented the narrative mode, the stream of consciousness? This mode is used very much by the modern 20th century poets. And these 4 poets are given, I have given their photos also, so that you may remember their faces to learn the names of them. And these are very important poets of the 20th century. William James, he is William James, and James Joyce, and Virginia Woolf, she is Virginia Woolf. Henry James, he is Henry James. So you are to tell who invented the term the stream of consciousness. This was the narrative mode. Answer is William James, this person, right? William James, he invented it in 1890 in his book Principles of Psychology. In 1918, May Sinclair first used the term stream of consciousness in a literary context while discussing Dorothy Richardson's novel Pointed Roofs. This person first used the term for describing Dorothy Richardson's novel, right? And it was invented in 1890 by William James, American psychologist. Who is the author of A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man? Khushwant Singh also wrote a portrait, right? A portrait of a lady, you must know that. James Joyce, Henry James, Virginia Woolf pictures were shown in the previous slide, so you must come to the answer. James Joyce, it was James Joyce who wrote a portrait of the artist as a young man, and he employed stream of consciousness also in that. Virginia Woolf also used stream of consciousness in her novels. And see the pictures, picture of James Joyce. This is James Joyce. He wrote this novel, A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man. Right? What is nemesis? Very much used in plays. In English literature associated with poetic justice, irony, catharsis, negative capability. This is a literary device very much used in plays, usually. Poetic justice, irony, catharsis, or negative capability. It was poetic justice. Nemesis, a literary device, refers to a situation of poetic justice in which good characters are rewarded for their virtues of their characters, and the evil ones are punished for their vices or evils. Right? So this is the term nemesis associated with poetic justice, in which good characters are rewarded and the evil ones are punished for their vices or their evil doings. Right? Let's go forward. Who originally used the metaphor of catharsis? And see the pictures of these think tank, you can say, of Rome. Plato, these were Greek thinkers. Plato, Socrates, this is Socrates, and Aristotle, this one Aristotle, Hippocrates, this is Hippocrates. These are 4 thinkers, philosophers of Greece, and who used the metaphor of catharsis. You are to give the answer of that. And he was the person, this Aristotle, which is called Arastu also. Aristotle को अरस्तु भी कहा जाता है. ये सुकरात हैं, सोक्रेटिस जिन्हें कहा जाता है. अरिस्टोटल ये अरस्तु, प्लेटो का नाम राजनीति और भी बहुत कुछ लिखा है इन्होंने. थिंकर्स हैं बहुत बड़े. और आंसर अरिस्टोटल इन हिज बुक पोएटिक्स. अरिस्टोटल कहाँ है? ये हैं. पोइटिक्स इन्होंने लिखी और इसमें he has described what should be the unities of time, unities of geography, several unities he has described as the fundamental requirements of writing plays, dramas, right, or tragedy. Catharsis is also written there. Catharsis is the process of releasing and thereby providing relief from strong and repressed emotions. When you are watching some movie or you are watching some play or tragedy written by anybody, or you are watching a movie, when the scene becomes very sad and you start weeping, so in a way the process of catharsis is there in you, and you are weeping due to that catharsis. And this is a purgation theory, and your pent up emotions, your suppressed emotions will get released with the tears when you start weeping. So he coined this in his book Poetics. Who wrote this line, "If winter comes, can spring be far behind?" Very optimistic line written by a very famous poet of Romantic period. It was S.T. Coleridge, or it was William Wordsworth, P.B. Shelley, or Lord Byron. It was P.B. Shelley who wrote, "If winter comes, can spring be far behind?" And the poem was Ode to the West Wind. 25th question, who is the poet of the following lines? "What is this life, full of care? We have no time to stand and stare." W.H. Davis. Adrienne Rich, Stephen Spender, Gabriel Okara. Actually, this is W.H. Davis, and he wrote these lines in his famous poem Leisure, right? Actually, he was a Welsh poet who lived from 1871 to 1940. Wales is an area in southwest Great Britain. It's known for its rugged, means rocky coastline, mountainous national parks, distinctive Welsh language and Celtic culture. From which poem has the following lines been taken? "What's this life, if full of care? We have no time to stand and stare." Here, the question was about who wrote these poems. Now, in which poem these lines occur? Photograph, On His Blindness, Daffodils, or Leisure? Actually, this was Leisure, I have told you in that slide. The name of the poem is Leisure. 27th question, the publication date of Wordsworth's Lyrical Ballads was 1778, 1798, or 88, 1768. Which one? It was 1798. The publication of Lyrical Ballads was a joint venture of Wordsworth and Keats, Lord Byron and Wordsworth and William Blake, or Wordsworth and S.T. Coleridge. You must know this. It was the joint venture of two persons, Wordsworth and S.T. Coleridge. Both of them worked together for its publication. Who wrote the poem Kubla Khan? Very famous poem. S.T. Coleridge, T.S. Eliot, Lord Tennyson, Kamala Das. Kubla Khan, yes. It was S.T. Coleridge who wrote this poem. Last question is, which of Alexander Pope's works is an effort to vindicate the ways of God to man? Yes, to vindicate the ways of God to man, not to justify the ways of God. Justify word was used by John Milton, and vindicate was used by Alexander Pope. You are to tell in which poem or essay or anything it occurs. It occurs in Essay on Criticism. He also wrote an essay on man also, The Rape of Law, The Temple of Fame, The Vision. These are four works of Alexander Pope. So answer is an essay on criticism. So dear students, this video lecture 5 ends up here. I hope that you will watch this video with full attention, with rapt attention, and it will help you in any way, directly or indirectly. It will help you understand the questions in your exams or solving the questions in your exam. I hope that you must, all of you, clear your exam with flying colors. So wish you best of luck for tomorrow, the 23rd December 1917. Thank you.